You guys, what's up? Tools in Action, very special edition. Stanley the Dirt Monkey is here. If you don't follow him, you better go follow him. Just type in Stanley Dirt Monkey or Dirt Monkey University, right?
Just
You'll
Dirt
come
Monkey.
up. Dirt Monkey.
Me and a rock band will come up, and I'm not the rock band.
Oh, really? There's a rock band, Dirt Monkey?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
It's actually pretty cool.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, cool. We'll have to check that out too. But what do you do over on your channel?
Landscaping, construction, excavating, demolition, a little bit of tool reviews, but a lot of construction outdoor work.
Cool. And you guys, I mean, I'm not just saying this because he's here, but I follow his channel a lot. No, maybe I'm just saying it. No, seriously, dude, I've been following you for a while now, and I go to your site for, there's a lot of just, informative stuff, man. I mean, there's stuff that, like, I never knew that you go there, and all of a sudden, you're showing me how to do this and do that. And also with the Dirt Monkey University, you actually do training for people, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so I mean, this guy knows his stuff, you guys. He's a wilderness man out in Minnesota. He was just telling us how he heats his house with wood. Hey, you're a good guy in our book, But you guys, we always tout the Ventrac. We tell you how much we like it, how much we love it, and really, we want to get other people's experience with it. And everybody we show it to loves the thing. But you actually had some time with the Ventrac. You have them for a few months to demo from them.
Yep.
And I kind of just wanted to get your experience with it. Basically, he had the same model as this, you guys, but he had the 8-tire system.
Yep.
So the 8-tire system is going to allow you to, What's with the 8 tires?
Gives you better stability.
Okay.
So with the 8 tires, it also gives you the ability to float in really soft ground. I mean, it has multiple functions. So not only can you go up on the hills and just without rocking, without tipping, and take, mow and do things like that, but you can also go in really muddy conditions. In fact, with this, I use this Ventrac for 3 months. Now I own 4 skid loaders, a couple excavators, bulldozers, trucks. I own all this heavy construction equipment. And I was able to go into a lakeshore property, and I was able to rebuild the beach with the Ventrac that I had not been able to do in years with any of my other construction equipment, hands down.
Wow.
Plain and simple. Because the 8 wheels allowed me to float and to get in places. So I was able to use the brush cutter to go in and clear all the brush out. And then I used the stump grinder. I ground all the stumps down. And then I put the power rake on. And I was able to power rake and level the entire thing and turn thick, muddy brush that you couldn't walk through into flat, usable, green yard
almost
space.
like a swamp, kind of.
It was a swamp that I converted to a yard. And I did 100% of it with this. And I had no other tool in my tool belt. My excavators couldn't reach. They weighed too much. My skid loaders with tracks would sink because the ground was that soft.
Jeez.
And this thing did all of it. But now I didn't do it. I put my 11-year-old son on it.
Really?
I put him on it, and he did. I watched. I sat out with my lemonade and watched, but he did most of the work.
And I mean, that's how easy it is to operate.
It's easy to operate, but a lot of guys make the mistake of viewing this as a lawnmower, and it's not just a lawnmower. I consider this a tool carrier. So I consider this more versatile, more flexible. If you're buying it for a lawn mowing unit, you're underutilizing the value of this machine. Yes, it can mow lawns. It can do a fine job mowing lawns. In fact, it's one of the few lawnmowers that can actually mow really steep slopes better than just about anything else. But what I like about this machine better than anything else is the ability to pop that off and to put a power rake on, to put a stump grinder on, to put a brush cutter on. The brush cutter on the front of this unit was as equal to any brush cutter that we've ever ran on a 50 horsepower farm tractor.
Wow, really?
Yes, it was absolutely, and I made the mistake of putting my 76-year-old uncle on it, Uncle Tom. And we were up at Uncle Tom's cabin, and this is a real story. And he got on it, and he wanted to see what this thing could really do. And we were in the thickest brush that you can imagine. You couldn't see through it, you couldn't walk through it, and he wanted to cut deer trails. So he wanted to cut paths to force the deer to walk down certain channels. And he was taking this thing without hesitation up and down slopes and sideways, and he is pushing it. I considered it a torture test, pushing it beyond its limits, and he hit something, and he had a piece of the mower, a piece of the brush mower fly off, and it was shot right past my head. And I'm like, holy crap. I mean, maybe we should just settle down a little here, Uncle Tom. And he broke it. But we were out in the woods, and I was able to fix it using just the tools God gave me. Just
Wow.
using my fingers, just using my nose pickers, I was able to pull the machine apart and right there and then put it all back together, because the engineering on these things is absolutely amazing. It's simple. It's what I consider to be the KISS, the keep it simple. And it is the way they put these together. The machine itself looks like it's from the 1970s, but the engineering is absolutely without compare. How well these are built, how they put these things together, and the ease that just about anybody can hop on one of these and use it right away, and to change tools out and to do other functions with it. I've never had any other tool be as efficient, as effective as what this Ventrac unit will do.
Wow. Now, when you said changing the tools out, how easy was it for you to change the tools in and out?
It's simple. It's just a lever. It's literally just a lever, and it uses a pulley system. So it uses, instead of like using a hydraulic lines and couplers that you have to actually hook up to run the tools, most of them are ran off from a pulley. So you literally just pull one pulley off and you put another pulley on. I mean, I don't mind quick couplers on hydraulics because I'm used to using it, but your fingers out, you always get dirty. You always have to, you get oily and greasy.
Right.
You have to release the pressure on the tractor. Sometimes you don't know if you released it, and then you go out and you try and hook it up, and then you got to go back, climb back in, and you're back and forth. This, they took all the guesswork out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, my first view of it, I thought, well, this is overly simple. This is not going to work. It's not effective. And then when I seen it actually in operation, and I actually got to use it over and over again, I'm like, I wish every one of my tools was this simple,
Right.
but still worked.
Yeah, that's cool, because I never had anybody tell me how easy it was. I mean, obviously we've seen them, we've seen videos of them talk about it, but I mean, to me it's pretty easy, you know? I mean, as long as you're lined up right, just pull in, and I mean, like this thing doesn't, the attachment on it now uses the hydraulic couplers, but I have a couple times have it when the pressure in the system. How do you release the pressure?
Well, every machine is different. Now, when I was using it, I was using mostly the pulleys. Okay, I did use the couplers a few different times, but like when I'm doing it on skid loaders and things and different loaders, when I have to release pressure, we've got to use a special pressure relief valve. So we've got to go into the cab and make sure the pressure is released so that we can hook things up. And sometimes you forget to hit it, or you just don't do it right. And there's always a little bit of a battle back and forth with it. And I was expecting that with this, and I didn't have that.
Yeah, because a couple times it's happened to me. I just started up, put it back and forth, and put it in float mode, and it just seems to connect right after that. So I don't know if that releases the pressure. What about the build quality though? Because I mean, we always see it. I mean, you've been on the job for years, and you always, when you invest in something in your landscape company, you need something that's going to be there for a long time, right? Maximize value. So, honest opinion, what do you think of the build quality of this thing?
Surprised me. The build quality was truly surprising. I mean, the engineering, the attention to detail, the small little things, and how well it's laid out and how well thought out it's laid out. I was very impressed. I don't like gimmicky things. I detest bells and whistles. I hate bells and whistles. If you got a heated seat, don't give it to me, because that heated seat's going to burn out. I know that's going to happen.
Right.
I don't want any of that stuff. And this machine doesn't have a lot of bells and whistles. It has everything simplified to the point where it works. It functions. It's easy to tell what's going to happen, what you've got to do. And if you're not familiar with something and you're out in the middle of a field, and like I had happen where it broke down, and I'm like, well, how did they build this? It was my brush, it was the flail mower. How did they build this? I pulled it apart and I'm like, holy crap, this is really simple. I can fix it. I'm Polish and I can fix this. It was awesome. I'm like, yeah, I love it.
Right.
Yep.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I laugh because the bells and whistles, like I like all the bells and whistles. Like I got all the lights, every option they have on it, I want to put on it. But no, it's good to get your experience with it, because I mean, a lot of people, like, we rave about it on the channel. I mean, obviously it's an investment, but a lot of people are just like, oh yeah, you guys just think that thing's awesome, but it is. I mean, there's really nothing, that this thing doesn't do that's advertised,
Yep.
So. Pretty cool, man. Anything else you wanted to note about it, or?
Well, with the good, there's always the bad.
Right.
And so I want people to understand that when you purchase this, it is an investment, but you're also going to be investing a lot into fuel. I noticed, at least in my own experience, that it drank fuel like it was bonging Kool-Aid. I mean, it just literally would go through it. So whenever we would bring it out to a job, I'm okay with that, because I'm also pulling the performance out of the machine.
Right.
Right? And that's okay, because I understand it's going to be going through a lot of fuel. But it's not okay if you don't have enough fuel cans with you.
Right.
Right? So if you're going to bring this out onto a job site and you think you're going to get 8 hours of runtime out of it, you're probably not.
How many hours runtime were you for?
I was getting about 4 to 6, but I was also pushing it, right? I was
Right.
driving
Full
it like
throttle all the way,
I was
yeah.
driving it like I stole it.
Right.
Because you know what? I was testing it. My job was to torture test this thing to find out the good, the bad, and the in between, and so I wasn't going to hold anything back. And so we gave it everything it got, and so we were probably consequently going through more fuel than what would be typical,
Right.
especially if you're going to own it, you're going to baby it, you're going to take care of it. We weren't ever going to own it. We were going to put it right through the test to make sure that we knew what it was capable of achieving, what its maximum limits were, to push it to those limits and to see how well it held up and how, long term, how well it would do.
Right, yeah, because when we went out, Eric and I went out to conservation, and we were there all day with it, and it took, we used only one tank, but we were probably there 6 hours, but I don't think we had it going the whole time. But I noticed that, because I filled it up right when we went there, and we were there, but we weren't doing, what were we doing, picking up logs and moving logs and stuff like that, and mowing, so, yeah. But.
So the tools itself, I want to talk real briefly about the attachments. Because what I noticed is the quality of the attachments is absolutely amazing. I mean, I was literally blown away with just how heavy duty the attachments were. The power rake on this machine, now you can get a power rake, a Harley rake, whatever you want to call it, and attach it on the front of a skid loader or in front of any type of a machine, and it'll do almost the same thing. And a lot of guys will argue with me, oh yeah, you can power rake on a skid loader, it'll do just everything this will do, but they won't float. So I had the 8 wheels, and I could go in and I could power rake a yard.
You mean the attachment float?
No, the skid loader won't float. The skid loader will leave tracks in itself. So as you're power raking, you're going to leave tracks and ruts behind it. And if you're trying to prep a yard to put sod down, plant grass, or you've got zero tolerance, your skid loader is going to end up leaving something behind. Where this thing is almost virtually disappears. So when it's grading, the power rake attachment with this unit saved us unforetold amount of hours. I mean, we would be able to go in and do it 30 minutes with this Ventrac machine with the power rake attached, what would take a 2-man crew 4 hours.
Really? Wow.
Oh, yes. The power rake was absolutely phenomenal because you can power rake forward and backward. Now, I had 8 wheels attached, so as I'm power raking forward, that means that all the work's getting done up front, and then I'm driving over what I'm working on. I'm like painting myself into a corner, right? But with the 8 wheels, it dispersed the weight so much that the wheels itself would just disappear. It wouldn't leave an impression in soft soils.
Wow, and that's surprising because this is not a light tractor.
Not at all.
I mean, it's a heavy tractor. So it's just weird how they do that. I think it's just because of the articulating, maybe doesn't tear it up, or how do you think it just does it?
So one of the things that I want to caution you guys about is over pushing it to its limits. That was my job when I was doing the beach restoration. I put an operator on it. I wanted him to play. I wanted him to get his take on what he was thinking of it. He was able to go in places that he couldn't even walk. So he ended up burying it in the lake. I mean, I shot a YouTube video of burying her in the lake. And that's because he got right up to the edge because he didn't realize just how soft the soils were. And so when he gets to the lake, he goes right in.
Oh, man.
So we had to have a truck up the hill because we couldn't even get down into the area. There was no way of getting even close to that area. You could barely walk in that area. And it's deceiving because the machine will let you go places that in reality,
yeah, you don't want to be.
Yeah, you don't want to be, exactly.
That's crazy. Yeah, and that's cool. I mean, I haven't tried the 8-wheel system yet, but I mean, I don't think I need it. I don't know if it'd fit in my garage with that, but that's something cool to check out because I always wondered how nice. And I know on slopes it gives you way more of an angle up there.
The performance is off the charts.
Yeah.
Yes, the extra 4 wheels on top of this, and it's just a simple bolt on. So you can bolt them on, you can bolt them off.
Yeah.
I mean, it's on, off, you're done. So it's off the charts. You're going to be absolutely surprised. The power on this it's just got good power. I mean, you guys inspired me when you were pulling your boat out of the water. I had to go, well, Tools in Action can do it. So I hooked 2 pickup trucks behind.
Yeah, actually, yours look better because I was like, damn, dude. If it was 1 pickup truck, it'd been like, okay, but 2, dude?
Yeah.
Come on.
And I had my wife do it, and she wasn't paying attention. So what you didn't get to see in the video is she took the corner and she actually rubbed the whole back of my brand new pickup truck with the crossbar, and I'm like,
yeah.
But it looked cool for the video.
Yeah, that sucks, man.
Yeah.
But
great American-made product.
Yeah, and females love driving this. Like my girlfriend loves driving it.
I couldn't get my wife off.
Yeah, they love it because it's so easy to operate.
Did you ever use
My
the
girlfriend
aerator?
Eric, he uses it all the time.
Did you ever use the aerator unit?
Yeah, at their plant we got to use it.
I got to use it in my yard. That was one of the first things. And that aerator, when you're looking at options of dethatching, core aeration, or it's called aeravation.
Is that something Ventrac came up with, or is that a real tool?
That's a different company that came up with the process. But when you put it on top of this unit that floats over the ground already, because you're trying to loosen up the soils,
you're not compacting.
You're not recompacting anything. Technically, you only got to go over your yard once or twice. I think my wife went over it 15 or 20 times.
Wow.
I'm just like, come on, honey, you can get off the Ventrac. She's like, but this is really fun. I'm like, come on, I'll get you something else to play with.
I know, it's crazy. Like the first night we had a snowstorm, she got on it, and I'm like, all right, you can just plow a little bit. And she wouldn't get off it. She plowed the whole driveway, so I didn't even get to plow with it. I was totally upset. But yeah, it's a cool piece of equipment, man, for property ownership, and even in your line of work. Definitely, should you recommend it?
For commercial applications, make sure that you purchase it for what you're going to be using it for, as a tool carrier, because if you're just buying it as a lawnmower, you're underutilizing it. It really is an excellent piece of equipment, but you're going to want to be able to understand where it applies. So this is a great complementary tool into your tool belt to go alongside some of your heavier equipment, some of the things you want to do, or if you own a ranch or a home or a large property and you have multiple uses for it, a farm, perfect. Like I said, this tractor here was able to do everything one of our 50 horsepower farm tractors was able to do.
Wow.
Yeah. It was
Plus, without
impressive.
tearing things up.
Yes.
So.
Yep.
Cool. Good stuff, man. Thanks.
Thanks,
you guys, you're welcome. You guys, don't forget, go over to Dirt Monkey. We'll put a link below in the video where you guys can go directly over to him and check him out. And then that's about it.
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Tools in action.
Yeah.
Remember, for more exciting tool action, go to toolsinaction.com.